Jake, hi.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad somebody showed up.
Well, so I know it said there was 5 going. So
Yeah, we're watching The Wire tonight from Deep Space Nine.
yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah, hopefully a few people show up so, it's not just us because this is a little bit of a deep day.
Yeah, I'm not known for being talkative. Sorry for my lighting.
It's beautiful. It's fine. It's wonderful. And you found video. That's great.
Yeah, so my laptop actually has video on it. I called from my desktop computer last time, so doesn't have a webcam or anything.
That's great. I think others are planning to come. I'm not sure. Hoping.
It's still a little bit early. I was gonna go do something else, and then I was like, we'll see if the meeting has started yet.
Yeah, I always come early in case technical stuff makes it hard to get in here.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then I spent the last 15 minutes just messing around with video and trying to figure out how backgrounds work and getting a background and everything.
oh, that's wonderful. And you get to see my boring chest of drawers and wall because I don't know how to do backgrounds. And I don't want to because it'll freeze the computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, so how's your life?
My life is good. Just got home from work just a little bit ago. So yeah, I was like, I was talking to my manager, and I was like, he was like, "Yeah, I need to get out of here." And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm at a Zoom meeting with friends at 7, so I can't hang out too long."
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice of you to hurry for me. That's nice. Oh, oh goodness. Why did I post on Facebook that day? Oh goodness. I'm just looking over a memory post of that day. I don't even know if you know, but this 7 years ago today, my bio dad died. This is why I marked this day with this episode because I was a caregiver.
Yeah, I remember reading that post.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's very strange that I picked The Wire because Julian was a caregiver to Gary.
Right.
Yeah. And cancer is not exactly the same thing as a thing in the brain, but it's same level of pain, same level of heavy emotions, it's like same level of having to sit by the bed and just watch the whole thing go down.
Mhm. So haven't had that experience. So I can't kind of.
Have you been a caregiver though, or had someone to take care of you?
Um, no, not really. I mean, I know when I was a kid, got sick, my parents would take care of me.
Yeah.
And then, so when I was in the hospital for a few days, it's the nurses, but other than that,
Yeah. Well, that's still important. That's still important. Oh, here's somebody else coming. Suki. Oh, and somebody else.
Hello.
Suki.
Hi,
Hello.
what's
This is
up?
Jake.
Hello.
Hi,
Trixie.
Jake. Nice to meet you. Hello.
Hello. How are we all this evening?
Good. Been a productive yet exhausting day, but nonetheless, I feel satisfied, so that's a good thing.
That's great. Trixie,
Yeah,
are you
what about
here?
you guys?
It's been a good day.
Good.
Just trying to make friends for the club and hopefully grow it a little. And
Yeah, it takes time, but you're doing a good job so far.
we're a
Yeah,
month
keep it-
old, and you know, we shuffled our admin cabinet or our mod cabinet a little bit, and we've got lovely mods.
Yeah.
Trixie the human? Oh, they'll be here. Oh my gosh, there's one of our new mods now. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, everybody, Tiffanie Lovett, our new mod.
Oh, yay.
Hi.
Hi, all.
Hello.
Yes, Trixie, that's fine. Tiffanie Lovett is nothing less than a superstar.
Thank you. I was like tired, but then I figured might as well just jump on and say hi to you guys.
Yeah, how was skating?
It was good. It was exhausting though.
Yeah, you
I
don't
mean-
have to stay if you're too tired. It's great to just see you though.
Yeah, because I haven't seen you guys in a while. Because I remember the last time was like a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. But you
Yeah.
came and said hi, and that's wonderful. We love that.
Yeah.
Suki ran away.
Oh. I think they went to get something though.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake, this is Tiffanie.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Tiffanie.
So how have you been though? You know, this whole week.
Oh,
so
I've
far?
been there.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very glad for what we have. Very grateful. Hopefully we can grow things, and darn you for spoiling your birthday surprise.
No, because I thought it was just a general discussion. I was like asking that.
Well, no, when you say you want when somebody says they want something, I normally try and go get it for them.
Yeah. Well, you do your best, so it's fine.
I did do my best. I'm sorry, but you know, it is what it is.
But I mean, it's good though that group, the admin loves you though, so that's good.
I'm hoping so. Like, they don't know me that well yet, but we'll
Oh.
see. Anyway, Tiffanie does the most amazing art of different Star Trek characters.
They're all digital, but still art.
Yes, it's still art. Do not discount yourself because it's digital. I'm gonna get mad
Yeah.
if you do that.
I know it's hard though, because most people they only accept paintings or coloring as art, but
Well,
then they see
do
digital.
this
And
to most people. Just stick your tongue out at them or use your finger, but you're too proper, I think, to use your finger.
I stick my tongue out.
Who's your favorite character, Jake?
Oh goodness. Wow. Favorite Star Trek character?
Maybe Tiffany's drawn them.
Probably,
Uh,
I don't.
Wow. That's Gotta go with Cisco, I think.
Love that. Did you feel like showing him what you've drawn of Cisco? I love what you've drawn of Cisco. I think I've seen it.
I don't have one in my folder, but if I find it, I can like share it
Okay.
in the group on Facebook.
Yeah, Jake's on the Twitter actually, so you can
Oh, the
share.
Twitter. I can just
Yeah.
share it on Twitter. Yeah.
Do you have the password? I think I can give it to you because I have it in the senior staff group as well.
Yeah, I don't have the
I'll
Twitter
give it
account.
to you.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
give it
it's
to you.
fine.
So tonight we are watching The Wire and going to discuss caregivers and caregiver stress. Do you have anything to add to that, or do you want to hang out for the watch, or no?
I mean, I'll just hang out to talk until you guys start, you know.
Okay.
So when you guys watch, are you guys watching like on your own TV and then like come back and then discuss it, or how does that work?
We do not have a teleparty link. I am not the fabulous Dan Devy. I do not have those magical powers.
Yeah, because I've seen those before where people do the link stuff.
Yeah, I wish I was the fabulous Dan Devy, but I don't have the teleparty link, and I don't think you can do that on Netflix anymore anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Even if we could, I'm a little wary about using Netflix anyway because of the Dave Chappelle controversy, and out of respect
Oh
for
yeah.
the communities that he insulted, I wouldn't use Netflix to watch Star Trek. So I can't discourage anybody else from doing that, but out of respect for the communities.
I mostly got stuck back on Amazon anyway, because that's where all the other Trek is at. So
Yeah. And Trixie just gave me a thumbs up, so that was obviously a correct thing to say. And I do believe that Dave Chappelle was incorrect in how he conducted himself. So that is my stance. So, and I think on the podcast, I don't know if anybody listened to Sunday Dinner with Django Elsidig and the Now Visitor. They talked about this a lot and how Dave Chappelle was inappropriate and all this. You should go listen to the podcast. It is on the club IDIC page, the Twitter page, and the Facebook page. So
yeah, that'd be cool if Nana was here.
oh, you know what? I think I followed her on the Twitter, but you know, I mean, we'll have to ask nicely.
Yeah.
And Django's on Instagram, and we don't have an Instagram yet. Who maybe we should put that up for discussion.
Yeah. It's like I thought of it now, but I think if you ask them kind of like how those podcasters ask like the same type of requests, then it'd work.
You're gonna have to show me how we do that. That's gonna have to be a senior staff discussion.
Okay, yeah, because there are different ways, but it's like you want to do the proper way, you know, not
yes, because
come off as like,
yeah, as
what?
As a journalist, there is a proper way to ask people to do things for you, and a not proper way. You can't just run up to the door, the proverbial door, and say, we need you. No, there's a business way.
Yeah, because I mean, I know some of the groups on Facebook, they get help because if one of their admins is a VIP as well, then they have the connections, but
yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
and we have nothing we can offer them. Except maybe if you drew pictures of them or something.
Like I do art, so that's all we do.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a comforting thing that was like the two of the guys from the Enterprise Blues band, like, you know, Casey and Vaughn, they both know who I am. So if they knew I was in this group, then maybe it'll motivate them to go, we're comfortable with this girl, you know? Like,
I think they do know who you are because remember, I went and got permission. I went and advertised us.
Yeah.
Thanks to your connection, I got friendly with the mod.
Yeah, because I joined their one of their groups. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, it's like another group to join, share the art, and I'm like, oh, you guys are here too.
And
nice.
you encouraged me to talk to the mod, and I was like, hi, can we be friends? We're not officially partnered, but I made a friend with social skills that I didn't know I had.
I mean, she's like pretty nice in general, so
Yeah, I just don't want to, it's, you got to be gentle with it. And people are
Yeah.
tired from COVID and everything else that's going on in the world. So you got
Yeah.
to be gentle. You can't just collect them like baseball cards, like celebrities and everybody. You got to be
Oh
gentle.
yeah, speaking of celebrities, like on Twitter, I keep seeing on the thread about, Brooke and her phone call with John Billingsley.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? We're being recorded, so let's praise that for a minute.
Yeah, that's like really cool.
That is really cool. I mean,
it's special,
it is special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the work he does for the Hollywood Food Coalition, let's give a shout out to that, because it reminds me of things I did before COVID. I used to volunteer for my church because I'm LDS, and we have something called the Bishop's Storehouse up here where people can go who are low on food and like toilet paper and other little household supplies that can go. And even
'Cause
non-members.
there's always people who are in need, and I think, it's important to try to at least help them all
Yeah.
as much as you can,
Yeah. And it's just, it's harder with COVID and addictions and things like that. And
Yeah.
it's just really sad, the level of addiction in the world. It actually makes me think of my dad a lot because he was an alcoholic. And when he got cancer, he did very bad things like mixing alcohol and Percocet just for his pain because it was so bad. It was stage 4 by the time they finally caught it, and there was nothing they could do for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think the alcohol drinking contributed to that,
Well, it was a cancer of the adrenal gland, like near the kidney.
Oh, okay, near the kidney.
So you're probably right.
Yeah, because it wasn't started by the alcohol, but the alcohol added to the cancer that was already there.
Well, that's true, and it's rather sad. I mean,
yeah,
so many lives lost and damaged by substance. So many people with intelligence and potential damaged by, because at first it's a choice to drink, and then you lose yourself to the addiction so much that it becomes like you're dependent on it. It's very, very sad. Like you can't live without it to that point.
yeah.
And that's what I understand it to be. I might be wrong. Heather doesn't know everything there is to know. Yeah.
Because I think it becomes like, part of your daily routine. So then it's just sort of a natural habit. Yeah.
No, don't say sorry. It's very true. And it's sort of like Garrick with the thing, like he activated the implant and just taking endorphins, or whatever the heck was it? Was it endorphins?
Yeah, I think so. Because he kept saying he wouldn't, but then he kept doing it anyway.
And then it broke or something. It broke him. And then
yeah,
it turned him into some person who couldn't get his fix anymore. And then he became someone he wasn't because he couldn't get his fix.
Yeah. Which Andy Robinson did a really good job with that, because it scared me when I watched it. I was like, oh, his personality just changed now.
Yeah, it did. It's very, very sad. And, it reminds me of a story, and I've got many stories I could tell, but it reminds me of, when my dad was really sick. This was back in August of 2014. And it reminds me of, when when cancer's advanced and your potassium gets low, you kind of, and your oxygen gets low, it damages your common sense in your brain. And I'll read the blog that I wrote. It kind of won't make sense because I kept a blog of his cancer. And it's a very strange thing to do, but I'm a writer. And it was a way of helping me cope at the time. Anger is one of the stages following the diagnosis of a serious illness, and that mixed with alcohol and Percocet can cause problems not only for the diagnosed, but the loved ones of the diagnosed. A day of devastation and tragedy happened today. The family was heading to Lethbridge, that's where I live now, and I lived in a little town called Raymond back then. And Dad fell as he was walking in the car, which caused him to become very aggressive towards my mom and belligerent in general. Concerned for my dad, my mom went inside and phoned the family doctor, and he phoned the paramedics to come to the house. When the paramedics arrived, Dad threatened to kill Mom in front of the paramedics. when the paramedics arrived, Dad refused to go with them and was belligerent aggressive enough that the paramedics phoned the RCMP, like the one paramedic said to my mom, "Did he just threaten to kill you?" And the RCMP showed up and took statements. My brother wouldn't give one, but I did, because I was like, "Oh my goodness, you need help, you're sick," and all that. And the officer came up and he basically said, "You can either go to the hospital or you can go to jail." And he knew this was a man sick and dying of cancer. And Dad wisely chose to go to the hospital, and it turned out he had low oxygen or low potassium. I couldn't remember which, but this is what someone dying of an illness, this is what can happen to someone dying of an illness or sick from an illness. They can turn into someone they're not. And this is what happened. Like, you see the table flip scene where Garrick smashes the table and tries to beat the crap out of Julian. This illness has made him into someone he's not. And that's why Julian found it so easy to forgive, because, this wasn't Garrick. This isn't my friend. Yeah, anyway, sorry for the discomfort that the reading may have caused.
Oh no, it helps with the, relating to the episode too.
Yeah. Anyway, what are people's thoughts, pre-thoughts on The Wire? Does anybody have any before we watch?
None that I can think of.
I just, because this is about caregivers and caregiver stress. And do you have any
Yeah.
experiences with that?
Nothing that I can think of like right now. I have to like really think about before,
Yeah.
Sometimes you think you do and then realize you didn't, but
Well, whatever
Yeah.
experience you may think of. I mean, are you going to hang around during the watch or after the watch, or are you tired? It's okay if you're
I'm
tired.
kind of like getting tired. Yeah. I mean, it was good seeing all of you guys.
Yeah, it was great.
So it's
seeing
only you and 3 other people? Is that?
Yeah, if you want to read the rest of the blog on your own time, I'm more than happy to link it for you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
I've been thinking about writing a book about it, actually. Or doing a documentary on it 7 years after. Who's going to sue me? I don't think anybody will. It's my experiences anyway.
Yeah.
There's the link for everybody who wants to read it on their own time. But yes, any parting thoughts before we lose you to sleep?
I mean, it was good seeing you all.
It was wonderful seeing you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making time to come.
Thank you. And hopefully I just, pop in again whenever.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. We
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for stopping in. It was nice meeting
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too, Jake.
Does anybody have any other thoughts? I don't know where Suki went, but does anybody have any other thoughts, or should we get to the watching? Oh, hi, Suki. Suki's back.
Yeah, I'm back, bitches. Party don't start till I walk in.
Hi, Suki. So do you have any thoughts about caregivers or caregiver stress? We were just discussing about how Garrick wasn't himself and how he created stress for his caregiver because he wasn't himself.
Well, because you're not having healthy enough boundaries. So if you keep focusing on other people, losing sight of your own needs. It's pretty easy to get caregiver burnout. I think it's really important to remember that while it is okay to be generous, and I think it's a beautiful thing, always be the change within yourself first. So many people try to be caregivers without actually learning to take care of their authentic self. We just do things on autopilot, not really being mindful or awake or paying attention to what is actually going on. So if you want to be a caregiver, learn to fasten your own seatbelt and put your own oxygen mask on before even learning how to do that for another, and still use your techniques to be able to take care of yourself as well. Because otherwise you're just doing people a big disservice, and shame on you, honestly. But
yes, it is. It's very hard to be a caregiver though, when there's absolutely It is, because I was in those shoes 7 years ago on this day. Like, I lost a parent 7 years ago on this day. That's why I chose this day for the wire.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
Like, my parent passed away of a rare cancer on this day at around a little after 5 p.m.
So this must be a little bit of an emotional time for you.
Not really, but I just figured we could use this day to discuss caregivers and the caregiver stress, because it wasn't an easy job caring for him, because he was an alcoholic and for most of his life, and he mixed pills with the alcohol to ease his pains, just like Garrick tried to use his implant to deal with his pain of exile living on the station. And yeah, and I felt the wire would be the most appropriate for this.
I think it is, especially wasn't he in the service or something too, right?
He was in the Obsidian Order, yes.
Okay, yeah. So on top of that, a few more minutes and let's go watch. Being mindful of the stress and really showing appreciation to those people who gave their life or sacrificed their longevity for this country and a good cause. We need to be mindful and give thanks. And sometimes I don't think that we give enough gratitude or show enough appreciation to those who are in our healthcare system, especially now, to those who are in our military and stuff. So something as simple as thanks, man, or like a long distance high five. I used to just walk up and be like, can I give you a high five? Like, hello, don't just creep up if they don't know you, because you can startle people. But I don't think that we get enough thanks and gratitude as well. So we also need to be more compassionate. There's a lot of disagreements on polarities going on right now. And we can disagree and have our own opinions without like traumatizing other people and being too rude about it. Like everybody can have their space to be them, to do them. And do our best to handle that. So I think we need to mindfully educate people on how we can best take care of ourselves and other people, as well as make the world one step better at a time. As non-caregivers, interacting with caregivers.
Yeah. Like, I don't agree with all the protests, and, caregivers are literally getting beat up for their service, and I think that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, that's a little hard. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Violence does not solve the answer, and it's kind of saddening to see people disagree and yet be unable to be okay with that. Like, I don't know, it's a complex subject, but we won't go into that too much, but yeah.
Like, I don't know if did you see Barbara McDonald's Casperia Con a few months ago? Like, Robert Picardo was a guest star there, and he spoke about his grandfather and about how his grandfather could have benefited from a vaccine and how important it was to take the COVID vaccine, and how important it is for us to actually give a crap about what the caregivers have to say. Those weren't his exact words, but basically, yeah.
First of all, my inner nerd is like, that is so cool. Wish I could have seen that. Secondly,
it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube or Barbara and McDonald's thing. Talk to her.
Okay, yeah, send me the link. Or no, I'll just ask her to send it to me or whatever. So yeah, there's enough science now and enough evidence to actually back up that I was talking to a friend about this. Some people can't take the vaccine because of allergies or something else, but most of us, a certain percentage of people can. And a lot of people who have taken it, even if they've had the breakthrough, because it doesn't stop you from getting it. People who are unvaccinated are dying. Now, people who aren't vaccinated are at a lower risk of dying. And there's people who have had it, but it's not as intense. And the thing with science is there's always new factors coming in. It is never 100% stable. But for some theories, like, yeah, it is better. I mean, not theories, but for some facts now, it is better to get vaccinated than stay unvaccinated.
It is.
And yet, segregating people is kind of hard. But also, like, there's cause and effect of your choices. People have the right to make their own choices, but then don't expect everybody to support you, because everybody's diverse and trying to protect themselves the best that they can. I think also we need to be a little bit more nicer and less shaming people, because a lot of people, this isn't for everybody. You know, nothing I say is a blanket statement. This is my observations, and I'm more than happy to talk about it, because I think it's really important to mindfully educate people instead of just gobbling stuff up on the news. .gov sites, talking to your scientist friends, talking to people who are, as you said, in the health industry is key, because there are a lot of hospital beds filling up, and this can have a potential to make a big impact on our existence in the future. So yeah, we shouldn't exactly trust our government all the way, because they're not our mommy and our daddy. But at the same, and a lot of people want them to be mommy and daddy. But at the same time, like, respectfully, this is not, they're not trying to kill you. Like, as the next conspiracy theorist, I will happily say that. Some of it is true. Our world's not perfect. There is corruption. But a lot of it is fear. And this is where, if you understand psychological manipulation, they'll get you. They're not trying to hurt us. They're actually trying to help us. You should take the vaccine. And Moderna and Pfizer are the best ones out there.
Right.
And
Yes.
encourage you to do your own research and to look at cdc.gov, because it'll say, here's the myth versus here's the factual evidence. And then if you want to look up all these other articles from scientists and researchers, is their job to provide factual-based evidence on what is actually going on. And you'll find that a lot of it is not as bad as it seems. There's a lot of testimonies from other people who have gotten the vaccine. You know, it's gonna be fine. And yeah, that's all I have to say. We just need to be a little more nicer, though. Being able to understand why people are scared. You know, how we deal with death. The Worm at the Core is a really good book. I forget who it's by, but it talks about how we deal with death. And being able to be mindful and just one more time, educate people properly in a mindful and compassionate way. Because shaming people is only going to push them the opposite way. Politicizing it is going to push people away. So being able to address and work together as a country is personally what I'm all for, and what we need to start doing if we want people to be able to learn about making the best choice. But not everyone's going to do that, unfortunately, and that's okay. But you know, that's our choice to then exercise our boundaries, right? We were talking about boundaries and saying no, without being like, well, F you, I'm not going to hang out with you. It's be like, I had somebody say, oh, I can't get vaccinated. So I'm like, that's okay. All right, thanks for your honesty. So, you know, I just can't hang out with this person. That's okay, though. You know, it's fine. So.
And I agree with, you know, some businesses and the regulations of restricting people who can't or won't get vaccinated from different services. Like, it's like when they can choose to get vaccinated, they can also choose to go and partake of these services. If you choose not to get vaccinated, then you're accepting that you won't be able to partake of certain services, and that's the choice you make.
Right.
And
it's
somebody
the Worm
else
at the
is
Core
coming in.
By Sheldon, by Tom Szynski is the author of The Worm at the Core on the role of death in life. And it was a very interesting book. So
Hello.
Tom Szynski.
Hello, Teresa. And while we're waiting for Teresa to connect to audio, Trixie's just going to be on listening in today. Rough dentist appointment. Poor Trixie. We love them and we appreciate them. As I was reading the blog post, they said that I am very brave and a good writer. Thanks. Thank you, Trixie, for your kindness. Teresa. And we get a heart from Trixie, very kind. Anyway, I do agree with the vaccine passports. It allows people to take responsibility for their actions. I have one, and having got a small condition myself called endometriosis, I agree with the vaccines. Like, I get a shot every few months ago as part of the medicines I take. So what's 2 more needles?
Right. There's always a stage of observing, of doing the research, of watching how it plays out.
Well, I
And
want
then-
to be able to live my life. I don't want to get sick from this, because what would happen if someone with endometriosis got this horrible disease?
Mm.
I
Right.
even asked Barbara, the infectious disease nurse, about this, and she didn't know.
I love Barbara. Barbara's awesome.
Barbara is awesome, but she works so darn hard and she couldn't come tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, Moderna and Pfizer. Those are the ones
Yes,
that are.
I got 2 Pfizers. I
Nice.
did react a little bit. I got a little tired and my hand got a little funny on the second one, but other than that, I'm fine.
Same with me. Like, the first shot wasn't as bad. You just have muscle soreness because they're sticking fluid and moving around your muscle a little bit. The
Yeah,
second shot, I got the chills. I got that at like 10. Mine was less than 24 hours. Mine got the shot at 10 a.m., the second one. Then at 11 a.m., I felt chills, kind of like a little bit of bleh. Then sleepy. And then
yeah.
I had a little bit of a cough, actually. But also, there was a lot of stuff that in the air particles. So after that stuff in the air particles went away, so I was like, let me, observe myself here for a little bit. And then I went to North Carolina for vacation, and then it was gone because there's no smoke.
Exactly. I want the shots because I want to be able to do stuff, because you cannot do stuff without the vaccines.
Yeah, well, the mRNA medicine, I think, is really cool because it trains your body through like a synthesized dojo without actually having to come in contact with it. It is better, I think, if you can get it naturally immune, but also this is another way to gain herd immunity, where everyone kind of becomes more protected from it. So yeah, it's definitely a good choice, definitely a good option. Not really a big fan of the Johnson & Johnson, but I was like, okay, I was almost going to get that one too. But like, by universal blessing, I ended up missing my appointment. And then I was like, cool, as a scientist, let's get the Moderna one. Let's see what happens. For science, yes.
So I was actually supposed to get the Johnson & Johnson, but it was like right after, I think like 6 people got like blood clots from the Johnson & Johnson. And then like the clinic where I was going to go get it from, they switched to Pfizer like 2 days before that. So I ended up with the Pfizer shot. But
Oh, that's good. It's more nationally recognized and you'll be able to do things with the Pfizer.
That is true. Moderna and Pfizer are the favorites for now. There's a few other ones coming out, but
I have a fun story about getting the vaccines, but this one kind of a long one. So me dealing with anti-vaxxers and trying to after dealing with them for like weeks, they'd gotten to me a little bit, and I had to overcome that so I could get my second shot.
right on. That's awesome, man. Glad you made it through. Glad you handled it. It can be hard.
And I have Jean-Luc Picard to thank for that, because one of the anti-vaxxers, she was like, because it really kind of messed with me because I grew up Baptist. So I know one of her like final messages to me, she was like, you should just pray and ask Jesus to reveal the light to you or something like that. And then like, so there's this episode of Next Generation. It's called, I think it was Who Watches the Watchers. That episode just popped in my head and I ended up watching it. I think I watched it like 2 hours before I went to go get my vaccine, but it kind of psyched me up to go get it.
That's good.
I definitely did. I did some self-reflection and praying too a little bit. So I grew up Christian. Now my viewpoint on religion has changed, but I still believe in source energy. And I said, let me talk to my angels and my guardian angel and think about the consequences. 'Cause I wanted to go to Japan in December. It's 2 months from now, almost. And I had to be vaccinated to go. But I was like, the message that I got personally was, you get it, you're gonna be fine. You don't get it, you're probably gonna be fine. But then if you want to go to Japan, go get it, you know? So I did. Plus then I started going from out of quarantine, you know, because I was working from home. So I really minimalized my contact anyways. But
Wow,
yeah,
Japan, that
that's everything
sounds
I do
fun.
stuff to ask.
That sounds fun, Japan.
I hope I can make it over. I'm not sure.
That's a bit risky in December, though. We're not quite out of the woods for that yet.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm not sure if they're gonna allow people to travel from the U.S.
Maybe just cross border, because I know the Canadian land border is going to open like November 8th, I think.
Yay!
Yeah.
And go ice skating in Ontario. Skate on some Olympic ice. Oh yeah. I mean, not Ontario, Toronto. And go ice skating in Ontario if there's something there, because I want to go visit the sushi place that I saw.
I wouldn't mind going to Toronto, but I don't know how the numbers are.
Sure. Especially, okay, like during the November winter, like times I kind of feel the urge to stay inward and just really limit my contact.
Yeah.
Versus like, because cold flu season. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Who
we'll
knows?
still have parties. We'll still have parties in November if you need something to do.
November.
Yeah, we have
Well,
watch parties in November.
Nice.
And one's on my birthday too. I made a birthday party for myself, if that's not too self-righteous.
No, that's awesome. Do it, girl. Celebrate you. You know. Tried doing that this year. I failed epically. And I was like, but also I understand. You know, I spent my birthday mostly not really worrying, but thinking it would be really cool if people would just be okay. So I did a lot of praying stuff for my birthday. But then I dressed up in a red dress and I felt beautiful and I had cake and champagne and sushi.
Oh, sushi. California rolls, I hope.
Yes, I make all
Oh,
kinds of sushi.
thank God. I mean, I've tasted the other kind with the fish on the top, but I like the California rolls better.
Yeah, I can. I mean, when you and I hang out sometime, we'll have to make sushi for you.
My mom likes the stuff with the fish on the top, but I'm not that
Masago.
way.
Masago is so good. Now I just want Masago.
I want California rolls.
California rolls with Masago. Yum.
My mom loves wasabi, though. I hate wasabi. She will eat a wasabi bowl, for goodness sake. Like a wasabi bowl. She'll probably eat that.
I mean, I just eat serrano peppers. But the thing with the wasabi, the key is, if you don't want the spices to go up your nose, make sure you exhale before you eat the wasabi. Then if you inhale, that's when it goes into your sinus systems.
Oh,
then
you'd
you
get
get
along
the-
with Klingons and their food, wouldn't you? You'd eat all the Klingon gag and all that, wouldn't you?
What did they eat? I mean, I'm a Star Trek nerd.
Klingon
but
gag moves. It's like moving worms. But I'd eat worms, so maybe. I've eaten
if they're
worms,
spicy-
actually. I've eaten worms, so I guess I can't talk. I've eaten live worms.
I've had fried worms and fried grasshoppers, and they're like in the little package where they're like It's actually just melts in your mouth. But yeah, sure. Put some spicy sauce in there, make it really spicy. I'll probably eat it. But
I ate like this crap ton of foreign gross food for a $50 Amazon gift card once, and I have it on video.
I kind of want to see that now.
Yeah, I'll post the link while we're watching The Wire.
It's I definitely want to try scorpion. That sounds really good. So I think I just need to go to China, and a lot of people think some of the food over there I want to try because they got scorpions.
Ooh,
And
like fried ones?
I don't know. I do not know.
Mm.
I can't answer that question. But
Okay.
I heard about it. And then my sister's Chinese, so she got to go visit her hometown. And then they went up the wall and then down the little slide thing, the Great Wall of China.
Oh,
And then,
nice.
yeah, it was really cool to hear about. So I was like, lucky, I want to go to Bulgaria, see what it's like. Anyways.
Apparently I have is it great grandparents? It is great grandparents that came from England and Scotland. So I would like to see that.
Do it.
And
Scotland's beautiful.
supposedly I've got African ancestors as well, so I wouldn't mind going there.
What tribe?
I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
I'm curious to see what you find.
But I know according to 23andMe, my haplogroup is T2E, which is very strange.
Huh.
So apparently I've got Middle Eastern relatives as well.
Where?
I'm still sorting that out.
Okay.
They're just all over 23andMe. They're on both sides. It's so confusing because I don't know crap about my paternal side. But I paid the upgrade, so I've got about 5,000 names.
Whoa. I've heard cool things about this 23andMe, yet never done it.
Yeah, I bought myself it, and I was like, yeah, why not? And I paid for it for my mom and my brother, or my mom paid for it for
Wonderful.
herself, and I paid for it for my brother, and I've got all this research to do.
That's so cool. Yeah, I did the ancestry.
Yeah,
And
I've got that.
I was born in Bulgaria, so but I was like adopted at age 2. So all I remember really is, the thing that I remember the most was when I went to America. My parents picked me up. You went on the plane and traveled through Chicago because I remember seeing the tunnel with the colors, and I'd try and stomp on them. And that's the earliest that I can remember. And then, my family was there when I came to where I live now. And anyways, the point is, that I had some different stuff in me as well. And some of the pulls to like explore different religions and different spiritual paths, like Egypt, for example, and some of the Norse religion as well. And like Native American stuff is because that's all like mixed within me. Like the Romani gypsies, started somewhere else and have been like wanderers and traveled through different, parts of Mongolia and other stuff. So, yeah. And like in past life stuff too, I do like past life regressions. I was like, I remember actually being a Manchurian warrior. That's why this time I want to learn Kung Fu again. I remember being a few other things in past life, and that was really interesting. So it's interesting to see how the results from the ancestry went into my common interests, as well as like past life stuff. They're all linked together.
It is. I just don't know where to place all the relatives that have popped up on 23andMe. I don't know how they fit. I have no stories. I have no explanation. It's like, how do these fit?
The more you seek it, the more you'll find.
Well, there's no explanation.
Well, you got to find one.
I know. I don't know, maybe maybe it's like the Kardashian mystery. All Kardashians are liars, and so are the people in the stories that are on 23andMe.
I wish I knew what you were talking about, but
Like,
Right on.
Garrick and Tane. Like, Tane was Garrick's real father, but he was raised by Tolan.
That's where I'm a little bit out of the loop on the Cole Kardashian stuff. But
Oh, really? Oh, well,
I mean, I have better things to do than watch drama.
no,
And
that's Star
people-
Trek.
You said Kardashian.
Kardashian.
Okay, so glad I clarified, but not as much as a Star Trek nerd as you guys, so I have no idea who that is either. I wish I knew. But I heard Kim Kardashian, so I was like,
Sorry, I have a bit of a
Yeah.
my.
that was so funny.
Some people say I have an accent.
No, it's fine.
Do I have an accent?
I don't know. I mean, you don't sound like you have an accent. You just sound like Heather.
Okay.
Well, so that there are entire memes about Kardashians and Kardashians. So
Oh, okay. I'm dense then. No, but anyway, like in terms of Kardashians, Garrick was raised by Mila and Tolan, but and Auburn Tane was actually Garrick's real father. And that's what I
cool.
mean about Kardashian family lies.
Okay. That's
You
cool.
should really watch about that. Like,
I'll
you
do
should
my
really look,
research.
yeah, look on some wikis that are friendly to different communities. I won't say which ones, but there are certain wikis you don't want to go on to because they misgender individuals. And yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I was just gonna Google the show and look up the timeline. There's a
Yeah.
lot of Star Trek stuff that I have not watched, honestly. I remember watching it as a child, and I watched a few of the Star Trek movies that came out a few years ago. But on the nerd level, I'm not as educated as you guys are.
Well, Garrick's probably
Yeah.
Garrick's probably the best liar of them all, and this you will see in The Wire. But I'm not going to spoil it because you haven't seen it.
Don't spoil it.
Probably. And this
No,
being said,
don't
we
spoil
should
it.
probably get to The Wire before I'm tempted to spoil it. Can everybody res it up?
Yes, it's good.
Or does everybody have it resed up?
I'm working on pulling it up.
I'll even get it on my television so I can direct you on where to go. Okay, yes, Trixie's ready. Because this has been a very fun discussion, and this is going to be fun to edit into one episode, let me tell you. People are going to be choking with laughter.
Yes, girl.
Oh, you
It's,
saw my remote. I talked to my remote, and it tells me where to go.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. Oh, wrong episode. Come on. Okay, do we have it ready?
Yep, I have it queued up. So
Okay,
yeah,
I will, okay, so I'll count us down and then we'll go, and any questions can be dropped in the chat, or y'all can chat however you like, and we'll come back after. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
very
Hi, how are you?
good. We lost some people.
We did. They had other things to do, but that's all right. We can have a discussion or we can do whatever we want. What would you like to do?
Discussion is fine. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not very much of a conversation. So that's kind of why I like having like other people so they can uh, bring up ideas and then I can bounce my own off them, but it's okay. So yeah, I know one of the I was watching and I don't know. One of the things I love about Deep Space Nine is that it touches every episode touches on so many things that it's easy to have like 5 different conversation topics just off one episode. But
I agree. It's very much in depth, and I like that.
mhm.
So what grabbed your attention in The Wire?
I know I was kind of thinking about I know what you had said about the sorry um about how people become like something else other than themselves, you know, especially in that one scene. So, and I was just thinking, okay, well, why does that happen? Um, I don't know. My own thoughts are, I don't know, maybe something to do with pride, maybe. I don't know. We all kind of have our internal images of ourselves and what we want to be, and then we become sick or whatever, and we're not that anymore. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, Garrick, he was in such pain when that implant wouldn't work anymore that he became overwhelmed and then really didn't know how to handle it, right? So he started lashing out at the only person that was available, and that was Julian. So he pretty much attacked Julian, flipped the table, tried to fight Julian, and Julian was like, whoa, I don't want to hurt you. You're my friend, but I'm not going to allow you to hurt me either. So they got into a tussle until Garrick's body gave out on him, right? So yeah, what did you think of all that? That reaction and action?
I'm not really sure.
You're not really sure.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Gather your thoughts. It's fine.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think that caregivers, when they're tasked with caring for someone who doesn't particularly know how to handle a situation, and they become overwhelmed with dealing with an illness or situation, caregivers, caregiver burnout is interesting. Caregivers get tired, but they don't have any choice but to continue caring because there may be nobody else available to care for those who are in pain or suffering, and people can't just quit caring.
Right. So, I mean, especially as a doctor, this is his job to care. Um, So, and I just, it kind of reflects back on something else that we were talking about. I think our last conversation was, uh, they, I don't know, you have these moments when like, yeah, like Garrick is like tearing into Julian, and then Julian just responds with like compassion rather than like lashing back out at him or whatever. I thought that was interesting.
And the whole scene of forgiveness, like, I forgive you for whatever it is you did. He's like, okay, what did you do exactly except be in pain?
So yeah, that's another one of those conversation branching off points that I was just thinking about, is just like lies, and Garrick is a just straight up liar. Yeah, the funny that last scene where he was like, Julian was asking him, what which one was true, and Garrick was like, they're all true, and then Bashir was like, well, they're even the lies, and then he was like, especially the lies. So yeah, it's just another one of those conversation branching out points that
That's interesting. That actually sprouted a seed in my mind. Maybe lying and being dramatic was one of Garrick's ways of coping with the situation he found himself in, because he couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't leave the station. So maybe the game of lying was a way he coped. Maybe that was one of his addictions. What do you think?
yeah, I could definitely see that as a way of coping. I mean, because maybe that was like his way of attaching to something like familiar or comfortable. Because I mean, he's a liar, so I'm not sure if that makes sense, but
It does. Like, he came from the Obsidian Order. I mean, I don't know how young they train, but they probably train as teenagers. You must lie in order to get the job done. And they don't care how many lies you tell, you lie in order to get the job done. And if you can't get the job done, you've obviously failed at lying. Like, I don't know if you read that paper, but Garrick was considered a divergent by the Obsidian Order and by Tane and by Cardassia, because he failed to get the job done enough that he was exiled from Cardassia.
yeah, yeah. I wish, I wish there was like more background for Garrick, because it was just, I don't, training from like children. Well, but I don't know. Spoiler alert for anybody watching this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I mean, because Tane is his father,
His
I believe.
biological father, I think, but I don't know what the hierarchy was, if Garrick was forced to see him as an uncle or what, because of the caste system or whatever. But I don't know much about the Cardassian caste system, but I think because of his mother's position, of Garrick's mother's position, because Mila was a housekeeper, was she not? Or a nanny or something.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And Tane was of a higher caste, so Tane probably allowed Mila and another man to raise Elim, or Elim, or however you pronounce it. So very, very complicated Cardassian hierarchy.
Right.
And that probably taught Garrick how to be such a skilled liar because Cardassians have such a complicated, dishonest hierarchy, naturally. I don't know.
Right. Oh, I don't know. Cardassians seem to be, I don't know, interesting. Just, I mean, even like their literature, conversation at the beginning. Just so.
Yeah, what did you think of the literature and the analysis of the literature? Because that led to the first, I don't know, I guess it was a seizure.
Right. I actually kind of wish I could go back and watch that scene just because I was like, I wish it was a little bit more clear in my head. Because I hadn't fed my cat yet, so I was like running around and trying to.
It was called The Never Ending Sacrifice, I believe.
So was it? Oh yeah, because each succeeding generation sacrificed itself for the state or whatever. I think it
And
was.
Julian said it was boring. I think Julian called it boring. A little dull. Julian called it a little dull.
Yeah, I mean, and then when you think about like some of our own literature, like the superhero stories, they all follow the same basic format. I mean, as much as I love them, they all follow the same.
I mean, why does it have to be that way? Why can't there just be an unpredictability to it? Why do all the superheroes have to chase the girl and get married and kill the villain? Why can't the superheroes just shake it up a bit?
I'm not sure. I know certain people get upset, so.
I don't know. There just needs to be more diversity in superhero stories, and I agree with that.
So.
Like, there's diversity in Star Trek. Why can't there be diversity in superhero stories? I don't know.
Some of them are a little bit different. I hear Eternals is supposed to be very different, but that's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to get us too far off topic.
I don't know. Like, there is no off topic. I don't know crap about superhero comic books, though. I'm a little more versed in Star Trek just because, going back to my dad, it is something I kind of had control of the remote a lot because he used to sit in this little recliner chair a lot, sleeping a lot when I used to babysit him a lot because, he needed a babysitter. He couldn't get around the house by himself and stuff. And so I'd turn on a lot of Star Trek. And when he used to drink and blast the TV through the house at late night, he'd probably watch a lot of Star Trek. And I'd sneak up and I'd kind of talk to him in his state and see that he was watching Star Trek. So it was a little bit his thing. And he used to have the original series on these VHS things, very old VHS. I don't know whether or not he actually watched them or if he just had them. But yeah, it was very much an interesting type of thing. I didn't know he was actually into all that. So.
Yeah, I was the sole Star Trek watcher of my family, so I don't know, my family, they watched some of it and they I think they enjoyed what they saw. They never got that big into it. So.
Well,
yeah. I think they watched it because I forced them to.
Well, I actually watched I suppose it would be called a virgin episode. It was Voyager. It was called Displaced. I was getting babysat at a friend's house when I watched it live at a friend's house when they were doing ironing. I saw it on the TV. It's very strange. I think it's weird how Star Trek comes into our lives. It serves as a comfort, and it's so weird how it came into my life.
Mhm.
And I think it was like a couple years later that I talked about this, and these little videos about, I think it was called Ruminations, How I Go Beyond as a Star Trek fan, and that's in my YouTube channel. And I talked about how I used those, like Star Trek, to distract my dad from his pain. I don't remember what we watched. I just remember doing it.
Mhm. Hmm. Interesting. And it goes back to that caregiver.
Yeah.
I think I was like 7 or 8 or something when I first. I saw a spaceship flying through space, and I was like, "That is so cool!" And I need to figure out what that is so I can watch it. But so that's kind of how I got into Star Trek. I don't. I think I watched more than that, but the earliest episodes I remember was like Q Who, that's the Q Borg episode, and then um, Wesley gets a royal girlfriend episode, and those were the earliest episodes I remember. So.
Oh, of course, Wesley. Was it when did Wesley get into trouble with a girlfriend? I haven't seen all the episodes of Next Generation, because Next Generation, I think, got off to a shaky start, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I was born a few months after it started, so.
Mhm. So Wesley, so there's these, so the Enterprise transported these like 2 shapeshifter, like, from one planet to another, and she was, so it was like a princess who was supposed to take charge of another world, and then again, hit her like caretaker, um, I don't know, protector, governess, uh, and so they took human form and they transported on board, and the princess ended up being this like beautiful girl, and Wesley uh, fell madly in love with her, and so that was a fun episode, and of course the caretaker didn't really care for that much, so there was issues there because she could transform into like these fearsome beasts, so there was some fun between her and Worf.
Oh goodness, I may have to watch that. Lots of caretaking episodes out there. Yeah. Yeah. So are there other parts of The Wire that touched you?
So I don't know if it really touched me, but I know it's just the reaction of Tane to hearing about Garrick's sickness, and the reason why he ends up helping is because he just wants Garrick to live a long, miserable life in exile.
The
So,
bastard.
and then, and then Julian is just like, that's a lovely sentiment. um, but and then as it was closing, as that scene was closing out, and Tane was like, "Tell Garrick I miss him," and it was kind of like it's a interesting dynamic because Tane seems like he hates him, but he loves him at the same time. So
I'm not sure about that. I think Tane is a narcissist and wants to have pleasure in Garrick's pain and wants to miss Garrick and wants Garrick to know that I will always have power over and you better not forget it. And you need to remember that I will always have power over you no matter where you are.
mhm.
I don't know, Tane is a little bit like my dad was, unfortunately. He was sort of like, I don't know, my mom even said this and she's gonna kill me for saying this. But you know what? He's dead. What is he gonna do? I have my right to say it. It's sort of like the Jekyll and Hyde personality type thing.
Mhm.
Like he was like very nice to people in public, pretended to be like family man whenever he was home because he worked a lot. But then in private, he was anything but a family man. And it was very sad indeed. And you know, and I said this in my little personal essay that I wrote for StarTrek.com, IDIC includes me. And he went as far to tell my brother that I was not worthy of love because I have a disability. He never treated me as if I were his daughter. And, you know, that's why I resonate with Garrick, because I can understand how he feels. I can understand how it feels to be treated as if I were not my father's child, because that's how Tane treated Garrick.
Mhm.
You know, and it's really sad.
Yeah, it is.
But, you know, like being a caregiver, and I even wrote notes on this. Let me get the notes so I get this right, because I thought about this as I was preparing for this, because I did some mental preparation for this. You can't do something like this and not mentally prepare. It's literally like, I wrote this down. Like, you know, and I dealt with this lack of acceptance, this lack of love, and yet I helped care for him when he was ill and dying of cancer. And I suppose that doing that is a way of showing forgiveness and compassion, and that mirrors the compassion that Julian showed Garrick and the respect that he showed their friendship when he just refused to go away when Garrick lashed out. It wasn't easy caring for my dad when he was sick, especially that journal entry I shared and all the stuff that I as a caregiver went through and all that our family went through when he was sick, because it wasn't easy. He was abusive. He, like, you know, when he learned that his cancer was terminal and there was nothing he can do, one of the things he said, because he had actually gone to rehab for his alcoholism and spent some time there, and when he learned his cancer was terminal, he was like, F it, I'm gonna die anyway, went right back to drinking. And he said, F it, I'm gonna die anyway. So it was not an easy thing.
Mhm.
And, you know, caring for him when he was ill and dying, that is a way of showing forgiveness and grace. And Julian exhibited that same forgiveness and grace even after Garrick lashed out at him. And, you know, those who are caregivers to the sick and the dying, even like, you know, in COVID and everything else, they show grace by putting their own personal feelings and pains and sufferings aside just to do their job and care and love. And yeah.
Mhm.
And I spread his ashes. In 2017, I spread his ashes along a nice little beach.
Mhm.
That's even more grace, because I could have just thrown them in an incinerator and it would have been too easy. But I spread them along. I got permission from a mayor of the town where we used to live, and I spread them along a nice little beach, nice little shore, where we used to walk the dogs.
Um,
Because, hating someone that hated you is like pointless. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other someone to die, but that other someone is already dying. So what's the freaking point?
um, well, um, yeah, so sorry.
Don't apologize. Say what's ever on your mind.
So I mean, yeah, that's grace and things. Sorry, this is kind of a little bit out of the realm of my personal experience, so I'm trying, but like showing that grace rather than like hating and things. That's kind of one of the ways like we can hold on to, I don't know, who we are. So it's like every time we give into hating, we kind of want go away from that, and then whenever we like show grace and things, that's kind of how we hold on to ourselves, I guess.
Yeah. Like, even if we don't believe in God or higher powers and stuff, we can still show grace and forgiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes us better people. That's what makes us Julie and Bashir and the caregivers. And that's what makes us human. And despite all the crap that's going on in the world, that's what helps us keep our humanity, the ability to hold on to grace enough to care.
Right.
Yeah. Did I make you cry?
No. I'm kidding. I don't know that I know the story kind of makes me sad. Just because I was like, yes, I kind of understand. Fuck it, I'm dying anyways. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of being judgmental on my part. But it was like, okay, well, so rather than holding on to the best part of yourselves, you just slip back into the worst parts of his life, I guess. That,
And
that's kind of it's kind of judgmental on my part.
no, it's okay. It is sad. He did slip back into the worst part of himself. And that's sad because we, even in, as people are dying, even then, you're going to make a choice. And it is a stressful time. And we do have to show grace and compassion for that. But we all choose who we want to be, even in our state of dying. And we can either take advantage of that and decide we want to spend our dying days trying to make up for what we lacked, or we can just slip into it fighting and being the most miserable person possible.
Mm-hmm.
And he made his choice.
Right.
It's sad. I still get sad over it. Like, it's like there's not love there. Like, it's sad, but it's just, it feels, I don't know, he wasted his potential through the bottle and through the addiction, and then he wasted the opportunity to, make things right in the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sad, At least Garrick, you know, Garrick didn't waste his opportunity. He allowed Julian to help him. Of course, he didn't have a choice. He was incapacitated in the sick bay, but when Julian got back, he allowed Julian to help him, and he was grateful. He showed up at the table for lunch at the end of the episode and said, "May I sit? May I be your friend still? I still love you. Thank you for actually having a pair and standing up to me and loving me and giving me grace and forgiveness."
Mhm. Right. So I know maybe that's part of what being a caretaker is about too, is I think through showing that grace and forgiveness, you're giving that person the chance to, I guess, find their potential, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
yeah. And, you know, even if they don't choose to find themselves, we as caretakers have to forgive ourselves for that, because it's not our responsibility. It's not our fault. They don't choose to find themselves. But we as caretakers, we choose to find ourselves. We choose to move on. We choose to do good. And we should give ourselves kudos for that. It's not our fault that some people don't choose to use their dying days or their struggling days to do better for themselves. And it's not our fault that happens. So we need to self-forgive.
right. So kind of goes back to that boundaries thing a little bit. But so because I don't know, when we I don't know, give into that depression, or I get maybe self-recrimination, I guess, because we weren't able to help the way that we wanted to help.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess that's another way that we could lose ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're not God. We can't save everybody. We can't even try, because people have their choice. We can't save everybody, and we shouldn't blame ourselves, because everybody has the freedom to choose for themselves. All we can do is govern ourselves and teach people how to help themselves. And we can't just force them one way. That's not the way of the world.
Right.
All we can do is take care of them and teach them how to take care of themselves, and they have the right to take care of themselves. And all we can do is love and then leave them to themselves, right?
Right. They because that's, I think, part of their responsibility too, is because all the caring in the world is, it might inspire them, but all the caring in the world can't make them take responsibility for their own life.
Right.
Like you were saying, that's something that they have to choose to do.
And sometimes, you know, our love is not enough for them to want to love themselves or to care about themselves, because sometimes either they're not aware of how their behavior impacts others, or they don't care how their behavior impacts others. They're too into that and too into themselves that they don't want to do anything about what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, we got deep. See how much of a good conversation we're having with just the two of us? I told you you had lots to say.
I'm an introvert, so I rely on other people to.
Well, you've done so well. What's the mug? I think you've shown it to me before, but I don't remember.
Oh, So I don't know if you can see it, but the background is, can you see it?
Sort of. I need my glasses, but I don't want to put them on right now. What's it say?
Cthulhu.
Oh, nice.
It's like a Cthulhu with cat ears.
That's nice. That's very nice. Whew. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss, or are we all brained out?
I don't know. I'm kind of brained out. If there's something else that you wanted to discuss, that's fine.
No, I think we've done a really good job of dissecting caregivers and caregiver stress tonight. I thank you so much for coming.
So, thank you for putting this on. Sorry, not more people stayed.
That's okay. Like, if you ever feel like there's an episode you want to share, we're taking suggestions for December. And yeah, just message me on that in Facebook or Twitter. You're on Twitter, that's right.
So I'm on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook.
Okay,
So,
yeah, we have the group's also on Facebook if you wanted to find us.
okay. So on Facebook, I'm Jacob Bennett.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you're there.
So
But thank you so much for attending tonight and for your contributions. You're very much appreciated.
you're most welcome.
You're so great to have here.
Why is that?
You are. You're so great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You too. Thanks.
You're welcome. Live long and
Okay.
prosper. Be safe. I release you into the night with blessings of safety and peace.
You too. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good
Take care.
night. Bye.
All right.
Thank you all for coming to this discussion. Be safe, be well, live long and prosper.